So I'm getting ready to put some fluid film in the voids in the bed and around the tailgate and whatever. So I've removed the tail light, I removed the cargo pod that I added there, cubby, whatever you want to call it. Because if you look down inside of there, you can see there's a lot of what looks like practically bare metal or very lightly sprayed. The black is from the dealership. I had paid them to do an undercoating. It's a paraffin-based one. And as you can see, they really didn't get much of the interior of the rear end of this truck. And this is where I'm really afraid rust is going to be an issue for all of us that live up here in the salt and snow belt, especially where I live. They use the calcium stuff that is like a liquid that goes on the roads, and that just rots your vehicle out if you don't take care of it. I mean, if this was a regular truck with a full frame, I'd say take your oil once you drained it out of your engine and brush it on with a paintbrush. But areas like this, something like fluid film, which is a wool, so it's probably a paraffin as well, or lanolin or something like that, based corrosion preventative. And I am just going to soak all these cavities as good as I can. I got 6 cans of this, and we'll see how far it goes. But if you live where they salt the roads, you really need to do this to your Maverick. So now I've got as much as possible from the back here coated with fluid film, and as you can see, it kind of makes a mess. But you know what, with these oil or wax based type preservatives, that coating is your friend. And especially when you get it up there like in those seams, all the pinch welds and places where the metal is folded and where layers are stacked together, because that right there is what is going to save you from water and salt getting in there. It's important to do this before you go through your first winter. Even up here in the top of the bed, you can see the metal there. And the left rear in particular, I think, is the most important, because unlike the rest of this truck, there is no plastic cladding. That's the floor. That's the back of my mud guard. There's my shoe showing down there. It won't focus for whatever reason, but yeah, there we go. That's the back of the mud flap, and that's how open and exposed the back of your bed is, and why it's so critical to cover all of this as much as possible if you're going to be driving anywhere with salt spray and slush and whatever else getting thrown up inside the back of your truck. So yeah, it's definitely a good idea to pull down wheel well liner, because as you can see, there is all kinds of places that salt is going to sit and build up and rot out the bed of your truck, which, since this is a unibody, the back end of your truck is eventually going to rot out and fall off. So definitely get in here and spray it down within an inch of its life with fluid film or LPS3 or some sort of product that should help stop rust. Hitting your suspension's not a bad idea either. All these arms and whatever, perches for springs like right there, because you know salt's going to get inside of that and rot that out. So yeah, soak it down good. Just so that, yeah, you definitely need to be pulling this wheel well liner out, because there are all kinds of little gaps. You want to get as much of this product, this anti-corrosion stuff, whatever you decide to use, into between laps of metal. And I know if you watch the video of how Ford builds these, before anything's painted or any interior goes in, just when the body's done, they do a dip of the whole body. And it's a good thing, because as you can see, there are all kinds, get a good light to show you here. all kinds of gaps, and even this seam here, there's all kinds of space. I had a Dodge Grand Caravan, and if you ever owned one and you live in places where we get a lot of salt, right ahead of the rear wheel well, they will just eat right through and be like Swiss cheese, because Dodge was so stupid. They did a seam very similar to this on the bottom of the vehicle, and salt would get up inside there and just eat around and eat away, and only with a process like this could you hope to seal it up. And I might even have to hit this again. There's other seam gaps like there, and even like around the edges of the bed you got stuff, and then all up in here. You want to hit as much of this as you can, just because there are so many places salt is going to get and pool and puddle and start eating, and once it starts, it doesn't stop. So coat away. This is 3 cans worth now, just for this side of the bed. I plan on 3 for the other side. And yeah, it's a little heavy, but you know what? Oh, another place, really, this has tubular channels. They act sort of like a frame, and there are little openings like this. You want to hit those as good as you can. Just spray away inside. I might buy a couple more cans and just literally fill those until they start running out, because I can only get so much that I can see, and there's a lot more that's in there, and you know salt is going to get in there with salt spray when you're driving. So that's what to do. Soak this thing down as good as you can. Hit every surface you can think of. I got a few bare spots right there. I want to hit some more. I don't know if this has a creeping property to it or not. Some of the stuff like LPS3 that you use with aviation has a creeping property to it. It will actually spread if you get it thick like that. It might be even a better idea. There's these laps. These are part of the bottom of the bed. Blow as much as you can up inside those channels until they start to bubble back out. And then you know you filled it, because all of those are where salt is going to go, and where salt goes, you're going to get rust. You know, most trucks, and my Ranger, I had rust right here on my Rangers before anywhere else on the truck, and I got the undercoating and everything else. Most of the time you see Chevys and Fords and probably Dodges as well, and they also start to rust out right here. So anything you can do to get up inside of that area and coat it, the better. Even if you just use, like, I use full synthetic motor oil, AMSOIL, because I love the fact I can go 1 year, 25,000 miles between oil changes. But get a fogger type thing, you know, one of those things with a suction pickup, and blow that all over the bottom of your vehicle, if nothing else, because it will actually seep into cracks and keep water out, even if it doesn't dry and harden the way this stuff does. That's the advantage of this kind of a product. So yeah, definitely do yourself a favor, spread, you know, all over your suspension stuff down here as well, even if it's undercoated, and even the tubular part. If you have the front wheel drive, this is your rear suspension arms. Those are beefy, but you want to get up inside of there because Ford didn't seal them.